What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, getting you on the grind and improving your mind every single video that we do. So today we got a special guest for you guys. We have Steve, the Dean Williams from the Man Mindset. What's going on, Steve?
Thank you for having me on, man. I'm good, brother.
Thanks for joining us today. And tell the audience a little about you, like who you are, and how did you get into like helping men on YouTube and all that.
Well, I've been doing this before you, so I've been doing this for over 40 years. So teaching for 40 years. I started when I was young. I started at 9 years old. I learned game at a young age, and I think it started in the '80s. I just started teaching guys. They were always asking because I was always the one getting the women and stuff. So I started charging guys, and then everything went off. So I just been teaching guys all over the world game without deception and manipulation. So we started with podcast. We started with the internet in '96, and then we flew into podcasts, the MP3s, MySpace, Facebook, all those things up to YouTube. So we've been doing this since what we started when YouTube came out. We came in that section then.
What was like before the internet? Like, what were guys doing? Because I know, I'm 28. So by the time I actually started getting the groove of things, the internet was already in full blown. Everybody's on Tinder now. Everybody's, people are afraid to go up to the girl at the supermarket in the real world because they'd rather just, sit back and then just go on Hinge later and swipe. So what did guys have to do back in the day to actually, talk to a woman instead of actually having, they had to actually go up to her, right? And knock on the door.
Yeah. If you didn't talk, you didn't eat. That was it. We, back in everything when everything's in black and white. Back in the day, so to speak, we had payphones, pen pal, roller skating rinks, and going to the mall and stuff like that, or going to parties. So when a woman was around, we went. If you didn't talk to her, you wasn't going to get her, and if you got her, depending on where she lived, you couldn't talk to her. So if I met a chick at I don't know, Red Lobster somewhere I met, and because I'm from Maryland, so she's from New York. I would either have to write a pen pal letter, or I have to go to the payphone and put money in the payphone to call her because I would get my butt whipped using my parents' as long distance and stuff. So it was different times, man.
Yeah, like, do you mostly help men with like only women, or is it like just the mind in general, or like different things, or?
Well, yeah, God teach game. Game is in everything. So whether it's getting a job, whether it's getting a promotion, relationships, everything. So I teach game in everything because game is all things. So yeah.
Is that so? How exactly would you describe like what game is for? Because a lot of people don't really. I mean, a lot of people they seem to use this word "riz" now. I don't like that word at all. But that's what.
Yeah. Well, game is an all-encompassing knowledge of yourself, where you look to your own self to grow yourself and use a foundation of what we call your fingerprint, because you're the only one of your kind on this planet. So why not learn your own language without trying to be like somebody else, imitating someone else, mocking somebody else? Or what's going on right now is everybody's regurgitating information, false information and things like that. So game is all about being one mind, one thought, one way with yourself.
And how would you describe like what a man is to you? Is that a little bit different than what game is, or they coincide, right?
But they kind of go coincide because a man lives by a certain code. He lives by laws, rules, codes. He has value statements, mission statements, legacy statements, principles, and how he moves in his everyday life, not with just his family, his friends, and everybody else. He just is what we call one of one.
And how would you say like a man who does not have game and versus a man who does have game? How is that develop into like a man's transformation? Because I think everyone has their sort of transformation, but you can only do it if you actually put in the effort and the work and actually go out into the real world and actually try to experience things. And
well, the thing about game, the world is built on two types of smarts. There's book smarts, and then there's where the game is street smarts.
Right.
So what happens is a lot of young men who are not book smart, they will listen to other people try to teach them a false representation of game by keeping it in the books. Like math is going to help you get a woman, or English is going to help you get a woman type thing. The pimps, the max, the hustlers, the ballers, the players who are on the street, and they came black, white, Italian, Japanese. I mean, anybody on the street learning from the streets. There's a different type of a school that you went to, where you get your books, your knowledge from school. Going to school, but you learn game from learning how the streets are, because the streets doesn't care about you. Life doesn't care about you. The streets don't care about you. So there's a way you have to move in the streets versus the way you would move in a school.
Right. I think a lot of guys they don't really know themselves very well, so they're
Mm.
not really sure how to navigate the world. And a lot, in the recent times, what happens is that they usually try to find a mentor through YouTube. But another problem with that is that you can't really tell who someone is most of the time through YouTube, because the internet is a wide jungle, and you can
Well,
really get a lot of different information, and a lot of it can go the opposite way. And that's why it's really hard to find certain people and certain things you can connect with, because a lot of people are full of crap. So it's
yeah.
really hard to decipher sometimes, because people put on a very good act on the internet.
Well, the thing that which you have to learn to really actually know somebody, that's number one. There's like a few things you have to learn. The first thing is that person trying to create a cult? Is that person a victim? Is that person blaming? Or is that person trying to get you to see the world in a whole new way where you have to think for yourself? So that's one way. And then another thing is regurgitation. See, those that have game have lived a different lifestyle, and you're learning from their experiences on the street versus somebody that just takes, manosphere, red pill content and just regurgitating. And another guy says the same thing, maybe a little bit different way, goes on the same street. So a lot of young men unfortunately are disillusioned because they will look at either skin color, they'll look at age, or they'll look at a subscriber count to say, okay, well, this guy knows what he's talking about, versus listen to the guy that says, okay, you got to be accountable for yourself. It's like kind of like looking in the mirror.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because there's a whole big thing with like all these different communities and stuff that a
Yes.
lot of people try to like tribalize and try to, try to stick within one thing, and they say, oh, these guys are not great, these guys don't know what they're talking about, but these guys do. But like a lot of the stuff is just it's all the same. But the thing is that a lot of these people that are trying to be tribalistic, a lot of them don't actually put in the effort and in the work that a lot of the creators and people like you like that try to try to give them those tools. They don't even
Mm.
use them, they just leave them there.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't really actually pick it up. They kind of just are in there for the drama and for the for that extra red meat, just to make them feel a specific way. I've seen a lot of that, like in a lot of different comments. I've done a lot of research on a lot of their
Yeah.
a lot of different YouTube channels just to like see what's going on. And I see a lot of people just only really in there just for like the red meat. And I do see people that actually care and actually want to better themselves, and I praise them a lot, because that's how everyone should be. But I at the same time, these communities, they just sometimes you just see a lot of the bad, you don't see a lot of the good.
Well, the thing is sad about, because I've dealt with the seduction community before, because everything, even though things change, they still remain the same. So if you look at the seduction community, they did the same thing. They would take young men and they would create jargon. So you think about like a Neil Strauss or someone that created this thing called the game, but there's a book of school smarts. Well, the thing is that that's the connection, because a lot of young men don't understand what manhood is about. So they think it's about being in a, like you say, a group, being a community. They're taught, we're taught, for those that are actually connected, they're taught to be in a community, kumbaya, everybody work together and all this other stuff. Those like myself, we're disconnected from the powers that be, that we live our own lives our own way. That's why we're very successful versus those that want to attach to other guys or other people or other ideologies to think that they are really learning something when they're not.
Right. What kind of things did you go through to help better understand yourself and that of the opposite sex? Like, did you have certain jobs, things that you've done that kind of like put you in situations that you were forced to learn how the way the world works?
No, I always thought game was about women. Now, because when I was 9 years old, um, so like my story, like, you know, my father, like he's Ted Williams on Fox News. If you ever go to look at Fox News, he's like, you can see my personality, my father, you know, in Fox News. His name is Ted Williams. So my father was a ladies' man. So I had my father's personality, but I didn't have any game. So I would talk to girls, kiss girls, go over their houses, and they would unbutton my shirt and I get nervous and stuff. I was like around 9 with the older chick, and I couldn't get my dick hard because I was a little nervous. So I could get women, but I never had game. But once I came under my mentor, I always thought the game was about women, but he showed me that the game was a more about of a concept of oneself, a one thought, one mind, one way, where it wasn't you. It was about like what they call, the world looks at things as I am and I do. If you think about that, like it's either mentally or outside of you. So what I learned from him was to create a concept for myself and a standard, but to live by the rules of the outside world, meaning that there are 3 rules that I live by. Number 1, you know, don't kill anybody because, you know, they'll get you in the first 48 type thing. Number 2, don't go past the speed limit. You know, that was the third. And if that was the second one, the third one was, if you have a job, just do your job. But after that point, you have to be able, through his help, learn an all-encompassing awareness that you have for yourself, and an awareness that you have for yourself in the present, and the expectation that you have for yourself in the future. And it's built upon a perception of how you perceive yourself based on the knowledge you have gained through your own experiences by creating your experience. Like, so I created and when I was young, I created a world that benefited me in certain things in that world. And then I learned sex and became a gigolo, da da da. But yeah, that's how I started.
Oh, Jiggle, that must have been interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a Mike knows this, but there was the first time I had sex with a guy's wife. He just sat in the back of the corner of the room while I did my thing. And there was like Mike loves hearing the story because it was like the first time I was like, you know, when I went through that, I was like, oh, this,
Cool.
so it's like that. You know, you realize that the world is different than what you see on TV. Like
Yes.
a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes
Mhm.
compared to what's on the outside, your average Hollywood movie. No one really goes deep because if they go deep, you know, there are certain people gonna be like, hey, stop right there. Don't talk about that. We don't talk about Fight Club sort of thing.
Right.
And there's a lot that happens, and like a lot of the times I think that what happens, guys make, just like you were saying, the game about women because they default to pedestalizing them, they
Yeah.
default to trying to win their approval, and
Yeah.
because if my girl is not happy, then no one's going to be happy, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's sad because I see it all the time. I have a day job and I see this all the time. Everybody's trying to appease the women at the either the workplace or the home, family. A lot of friendships end because guys don't know what they're doing, and there's no leadership at all. There's no
Right.
structure.
Well, there is a structure, but it's kind of like Fight Club. So if you look at, there are secret societies all around us, and people don't really know what they're not supposed to know because the information is not supposed to be passed on to everybody. It's just supposed to be passed on to those who are worthy of the information. So you must show that you're worthy of the information to get the information. It's always been like that since the dawn of time. The people have not people just don't give information out to everybody. So once you show that you're worthy of information, it changes your outlook on everything. And like you say, like, you know, with you, I mean, I remember the first wife I smashed as well. It was pretty cool, but I had to learn and understand the rules of the cuckold. They didn't call it cuckold back then. It was just I had to understand that they're going to be guys who are going to come up to you, not in a homophobic or homosexual way. He's gonna come up to you and he's gonna talk to you. Well, okay, the couple goes into the club or the bar, they spot you. So then there's going to be a vetting process. So first, the husband goes over at the bar. Older guy is going to talk to you a little bit to vet you. Then he's going to offer you to come sit at the table where the two of them are going to vet you. Then the wife is going to give a signal to the husband. The husband's going to go get something to drink. Then you and the wife talk and she vets you. Husband comes back and then she gives him the signal to say, okay, well, let's take this. We got a room upstairs, or let's take this somewhere else. So that, but people don't see that. People, if you like, you remember, you don't know what you don't know. So an older guy coming up to a regular guy, is like, "Hey, buddy, are you like, man, you know?" And it's, they don't see that. So yeah,
Yeah, 'cause it was weird because my first when that happened, my first experience, all I was thinking after was like I kind of my thought process was I kind of borrowed his girl because it was because I before that I've always been with women that like it's just me and her and it's kind of like I'm in charge. I know what I'm doing. This is what's gonna. But when you're in that situation, you're technically sometimes, unless the certain circumstances allow it, you're just kind of borrowing his girl while he kind of tells her like this is what they have going, and you're kind of a special guest to enter. So for me, that was interesting when
yeah,
that happened to me because I was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
it was
And
like
that's why we
literally
talk
all the
rules.
time.
And that's why we talk rules. Like, before it happens, I'm not, it's not gonna, we're not doing anything. And then if you join, you're gonna be on your end. I'm gonna be on my end. We
Yeah,
ain't
like, oh,
ain't crossing swords, right?
that wasn't part of the contract.
Yeah, ain't no cross swords play. So it's just like, I just want to watch you with my wife,
Right.
and and that's just how it is. So it's just a beautiful life.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think? Why do you think men pedestalize women so much? Like, what do you think? Like, is it society or is it just themselves putting them? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, it's a lack of understanding of oneself. They pedestalize women. If you look at most guys today, it starts in elementary school. They get in elementary. They when they're in elementary school, they are learning that, going through an adolescent stage, and they're not understanding what they are. So when they first have that tingling feeling, what they call fear or anxiety, they look at women as, okay, wow, she's better than me or greater, or put her on some kind of a pedestal that carries over from elementary school to junior high to high school to college, where they just don't know how to communicate themselves to the woman. But then there's our kind, where we never communicate to women first. We communicate to ourselves. See, I'm always constantly talking to me first because I'm creating my environment, positioning my environment. So they talk to women, excuse me, talk at women. I talk to a woman. And what I mean by talking at, what do you do for a living? Because they're trying to keep a conversation going by asking a bunch of nice guy, boring questions. But where all this goes wrong, I know I'm the only one on YouTube says this crazy stuff, but I always talk about Mickey Mouse, and I always talk about how Walt Disney has set the game up for men perfectly. Because if you look at Walt Disney, what does Walt Disney have? Like with little girls at the young age, they see the hero, right?
Right.
They see the hero, and they want the happily ever after. But isn't it funny when they get older? So remember, there are two people in the movies. There's the good guy that's on the conscious level, but then the villain, bad boy, asshole, jerk is on the subconscious level. So she's already indoctrinated herself with an idea of what good and bad is, but she's only looking at good at a young age. So when she grows older, when she's legal for us stuff, she no longer wants the good guy. It's the villain that she's looking for, the one that is ruthless, that is fearless, that doesn't care, that goes after what he wants. So it's kind of crazy, but because no one even talks about. But see, that's the kind of stuff that you learn in these societies that nobody else knows, because the world talks to everybody in different ways. Like some people may, like I say, all of us, until I learned, was there. I saw Walt Disney as Walt Disney. It's just a cartoon. It's a cartoon with these two people, but there's always a thing in between that speaks to certain people, meaning that once you understand you need to be the villain versus the good guy, that's what's going to get the woman at the end of the day.
Right. And, a lot of people live in a very superficial world as well because everybody thinks that you need money and you need status and you need to have six pack abs and all this just to get goals. But I'll tell you, I don't live with my parents anymore. But when I did, I have been with almost over 100 women in my back seat of my car with $0,
Right.
zero status. It's
Yeah.
just me, the way I talk, the way I move, the way I want things to go. And if she's with it, cool. We end up in my back seat because that's all I had. I had to tint the windows. Only $100 to tint your windows, and she feels take her to a parking lot somewhere. It's all you got to do. And versus, oh, let me buy you a couple of drinks. Let me get you dinner because some girls will be like, oh, well, you got to take me out first. And, you already know where that goes. So
Oh
bye.
yeah. Well, most people again they define themselves by what the outside world tells them to do. I mean, at one point we were told that a fat white man goes down our chimney on the 24th and gives us presents, knowing our parents bite the cookies, dump some of the milk out, and act like Santa Bennett, right? So you've got to realize that you got to unplug from what they say because your money. Listen, I always tell young men that be responsible and make as much money as you possibly can. And if you want nice clothes for yourself, get nice clothes. If you want a nice car for yourself, get it. But the moment you do it for a woman, you're tricking because you're saying that I'm not good enough. Because, and this is where like suicide and a lot of guys get depression really bad because they build up all this wealth and they live off of wealth, knowing that sometimes life gives you a curveball and you can lose money. You can lose your clothes. You can lose your house. And they feel that well, if I lose these things, I lose myself. And like I say, game teaches you that the game will never be about women. It's never been about women. It's never been about clothes, money, cars, stats. Like you said, I was eating a hamburger helper, ramen noodles, TV dinners, and cereal. That's all I could live on when I didn't have much money. Making $4.35 an hour. I got a raise, but that and again taking two buses, not let it pour me story, but that's when I was a whore and I was going through ladies like a hot knife through butter, where they were buying me things. They were paying rent. They were buying me shoes and clothes and jewelry and stuff. So, but a lot of people can't see that today because of how the world is pushing this agenda. Everybody's pushing an agenda right now of declawing and demasculating guys to make them more feminine. So,
Well, a lot of guys have never been that guy to
right.
actually be able to see the world, the things that we've seen, a lot of guys have not seen. So
Yeah.
even if you try to tell them, hey, this is kind of how this is what could be a
Yes.
possibility, this is what you could be,
Mhm.
they'll dismiss you on the basis that they've never gone through that. Like
Right.
I'll tell, like I'll have fun and I'll tell like a few of my crazy stories without mentioning names to like friends of mine, and they some they won't even believe me. They'll laugh at me. Like, I remember because I a few weeks ago I did something on my shoulder because I was doing some things,
Yeah.
and I did something on my shoulder when I lifted her legs up, and I was trying to get medical help. I was trying to ask a couple people at the job,
Yeah.
what can I do about the shoulder? And they would ask, well, how'd you do that to your shoulder? I was like, oh well, I like to be very honest, like to everyone. I'm very brutally. I like to just have fun with. So I thought, well, listen, I was having sex and I moved her, and they started laughing. I was like, I'm trying to tell you actually what happened, and they won't even believe me. So like
Well,
things like
it's,
that.
it's like Noah's Ark. If you're religious, it's kind of like the Noah's Ark thing. It's just they can't see what they can't see, and they don't know what they don't know. So they're only looking at their reality as their truth. That's their truth, but not the truth. So when you're trying to say that, listen, you can get women easily by focusing on yourself, it sounds crazy versus women are the problem. Modern women, they're scaring with statistics and all this other stuff. It seems more to a weak mind, more easy to go with that versus look at themselves as the problem.
A lot of people, I say to people, you got to be your own statistic. You can't just follow
Yeah.
what you see on paper and pens because everyone has a subjective experience based on
Mhm.
what they go through. And I was like, you could be that guy if you just kind of try to discover who you are, what you want. Because a lot of guys will. It's very simple. Hey, let's go out to dinner. And the girl says, okay, cool. Where? And the guy says, I don't know. Where you want to go? So and he's like, I don't know where you want to go. It's like as simple as that. And that happens. I see it all the time. And then the girl just gives up and say, oh, whatever you want. And then it just goes nowhere
Right.
compared to let's go to TGI Fridays, Friday night, 7 p.m. I'm gonna get the burger without the bun, side of broccoli. So like you just everyone has their own way of doing things, but it's not really a one size fits. It's kind of everybody has their own rhythm, their own style, their own way they move. That's why it's hard. Sometimes you have to get with a person on a deeper level to figure out who they
Yeah.
are, what they want.
Well, because you only seep to your level. That's the see. Most people don't understand. They seep to the level of their thinking. So if you're at level 4 and you ask yourself a level 10 question, you're going to get a level 4 answer. You're always going to be chasing your tail. That's why even back in the days, there was always an apprenticeship. If I'm a baker, and I want my son to be a baker, he's got to go through an apprenticeship, and it's always been that. Even like with us, because I'm a geek, sci-fi and stuff. Like with Star Wars, it's always a master and an apprentice. It's always been that way because you cannot become a master just because you want to be a master. you got to become a master by learning from a master. So
I'm just curious. What are your thoughts on like the newer Star Wars movies?
I don't like well I don't like that woman stuff. I don't like the Star Wars. I was pissed at the Transformers, but I watched the Flash, so I was digging the Flash. But yeah,
We're gonna see
Star
it
Wars,
tomorrow, so.
yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta watch it. I don't know. I'm looking at YouTube and everybody's saying it's bomb. And I thought maybe I'm the weird. I'm like, man, this is the best DC movie ever. I'm like, wow. So I'm like wowed about this stuff.
You know, because I've been very disappointed in cinema lately. Everything is you got to eat either someone's gay, which is fine, but it's like you don't have to keep throwing in my face, or there has to be, like Ray Skywalker. It's like, I'm never gonna watch that trilogy again. I'm never watching that again.
I remember the day when we saw that, and when the moment she said it, I watched you get out of your seat and leave.
I walked out of the theater. I just like, no.
Oh, see you later.
Yeah, this is not for me. But like I like John Wick. That's what I need. Give me John Wick, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Apparently, the fourth one was really good.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But we're gonna see the Flash tomorrow, so we're gonna hopefully agree with you that it is.
Yeah, I hope I'm on multi. Yeah, because I grew up with Michael Keaton, so I was in high school when Michael Keaton was Batman and all this stuff. So I connect to everything that's going on. I don't want to give it away, but yeah, it's not just him running around. It's a connected. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm like, wow. Yeah.
Because the problem is like there's not a lot of male movie characters are just dumbed down. Everybody's a Peter Griffin now. There's no more Dalton from Roadhouse. Now it's all Peter Griffin. Like all of that masculine tendencies are basically gone. And I think these companies, Hollywood's probably held against their will to do this kind of stuff. Otherwise they lose their points. But it's kind of sad to see the movie industry just go so low.
Yeah, it's just an agenda, and they get to sprinkle us sometimes with Wick and things like Sylvester Stallone's coming out with another Expendables. I mean, we get sprinkles here and there, and that's enough. I mean, matter of fact, I'm watching Expendable. Wait, what's that on Netflix? I'm watching Chris. What's his name? Thor. Who's the Thor guy?
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I know. Extraction.
Oh, yeah, Extraction too. I'm watching that right now. Yeah, so we get some of that stuff. Yeah.
Because like, what was it? Top Gun Maverick. I think was probably like one of the better movies that came out recently. What was that? A couple of years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. You said that to me. I think you said it was like one of the most masculine movies you've seen in a long time. I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to see it, but.
Because even Creed 3 disappointed me, because you could see lines of what they were doing. Because I saw the trailer Creed 3 and I was like, oh, okay, let's go. But when you go deep into the movie and you start to think about it, I was like, oh no. And then the ending, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who has not seen it, but I was
like, they should have made him Mr. T's son or something.
Yeah.
They should have wrote because they did Drago. I mean, they could have went with Mr. T and let him be Mr. T's son, but all that, man, let me tell you something. If I go to jail for you and you don't look out for me, we moving furniture when I get back because he did everything for that punk and that little wimp, listen to his mom and listen to his girl and it was some sucker stuff. It was
and you can tell they're doing some stuff with the daughter for the future. I'm like, oh, I know what they're trying to do now. Now I get it.
Make her the next Rocky or something.
I was like, here we go.
I
was like,
that stuff will never end. I feel like there's no end in sight for that stuff. But at the same time, I know a lot of people, a lot of viewers that watch these movies are getting sick and tired of it. I've seen so many so many movie like critics and the rating scores, they've been very low for a lot of movies recently. Like normally, like I remember back in the 2015 2016 time, there was a lot of movies that were like 80%, 79%, 80, 90 all these movies. But now I've been seeing like 60, 50, 60, 30, 20. I'm like, wow, this is not looking good for you guys in Hollywood. But at the same time, they're just going to continue to do it.
Yeah. I grew up through the transition. The transition started in the late 80s because they started putting I think it was Saved by the Bell and Beverly Hills 90210. They tried to switch an agenda to say it's okay to hang out with the girls and everything, and people clapped on to that. Then you had your Seinfeld for the Caucasians, how Living Single for the Black. So everybody got indoctrinated in their own way, where they thought, okay, I got to be friends with the food and everything to get the woman and stuff. So
Yeah, a lot of guys are like, I mean, I have guys, a few friends tell me, I don't know what to watch anymore. I was like, well, there's only one thing you could do now. You have to be your own hero in your own life. You can't really look to these movies anymore for a lot of guidance. I think you have to live a life worth living, and actually, you have to become the hero that you see in the movies. You have
Yeah,
to actually get stronger mentally, physically, in every way. That way, at least you can, the greatest thing you can have is yourself.
yeah,
People
absolutely.
resort to movies, women. They look for anything for inspiration except themselves.
Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad.
I know you do a panel with a bunch of guys. Shout out to the Real Game No Theory podcast. But how
Yeah.
how can a lot of guys find sort of guys that are like minded and trying to better themselves?
Well, you can't find what you don't know. So the first you got to know what you don't know, right? You gotta be you. The thing is you got to be under a mentor. And what's going to happen is you're going to lose more friends first because you're not going to be able to at first you're like just there's Julie over there, let's go talk to, well, we'll just wait, and then one day you going over to talk to Julie, and then after that you're talking to Sarah and Becky and da 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 da. And all the lose your old friends and be like, well, I don't want him around, he's taking all the girls and all this other stuff. So you've got to get rid of the people because you're a percentage of the people that you hang out with. So once you learn and understand game and become a man, you're going to start connecting with those around you that are outside of the norm, that are disconnected, so to speak, not connected.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of guys' biggest fear I think is going out by themselves. Like I'll see a movie by myself. I'll go out to the bar by myself. I'll go approach women on my own.
Mhm.
It's just who you are, and just
Yeah,
whatever situation you put yourself in, you become that environment rather than the environment becoming you. That's what I think, at least. That's
yeah,
a lot of guys are afraid of being alone, and instead of being alone, they'll try to be friends with women, and in reality, a lot of times they're just trying to smash anyway.
yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah,
it's a long. Well, that's the thing that the people don't understand. This is a lone. I'm not alone, but it's a lonely life, and people don't understand that. Even though you have a bunch of women, you're still alone because who do you get to talk to say, well, all right, what are you doing? Well, I'm watching TV. What are you doing? Well, I'm going to just chill out, maybe go to a bar. Hey, Steve, what are you doing? Well, I just got done smashing this one chick, and then I got this other one. So you can't talk to everybody the same because then it's like they will get jealous of you. So you can't discuss. You see, a man's problem is like, I'm trying to get rid of her. She won't. She loves me. She won't go. She wants to see me. She wants to cook for me. She wants to be with me. She's buying me. I mean, these are our problems, not well, I can't get her. So the reason why it's so lonely because you can't really discuss that with anybody that is not on your level because it's going to either sound like you're either showing off or they're going to get jealous of you. So it's very, very, I'm not saying you're alone, but it's just a lonely thing. It's very lonely.
I think a lot of guys, they just have trouble finding themselves, which is the most important thing. And once they do that, once they actually get on the road to doing that, they'll be more comfortable in their own skin because they actually work towards that. Just the little things you do every day, you can set yourself up for success.
Yeah, but you have to have the success. But see, what people don't understand, their success is 9 times out of 10 a woman. That's the problem. They define themselves by what they think they need. So they'll look at a woman as a definition. So if I get a woman, I'm successful. If she turns me down, because I was always taught when I was 9 years old, there's no such thing as rejection and fear. I know people think that shit is crazy, but I was broken, and that was good because I didn't. I always just hear people talking about it, but when my mentor broke rejection and fear down and make me see what I didn't, because it's like because then I grew up with a thing called the Thundercats, right? You remember like Lion-O and stuff. So my mentor one day, because there was a thing, it was a sword, it had the Sword of Omens, and Lion-O was always saying, "Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight." So he was giving me sight beyond sight, breaking down why there's no such thing as rejection and no such thing as fear. So once I started to see that, it changed everything.
Yeah, it's everybody has to go through their own things, But I think a lot of the problems is that people or guys look for women for leadership for some reason, and they it's like they lack in themselves, so they try to look forward to her. Like, oh, let me ask my wife first. So let me, it all comes down to that mentality.
I guess I know that's weird to me. I don't. I'm just. I mean, I smash a lot of wives and girlfriends, and I get it. Like when you're in bed with them, and they're like rubbing your face and tell you how sexy and cute you are, the phone will ring or something, and they're like, "Hold on, sweetie, what do you want? I told you to leave me alone. I told you I'm at the store. I'll call you back later. Bye. Anyway, I'm back. And I'm like, why are you treating him that? Because he gets on my nerves. I'm like, ah. So yeah,
Or
it's a difference.
it seems like it's a lack of leadership, I think, because usually I have girls saying, Andrew, what do you want to do? And I have my own way of myself doing things. So I was like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna do this. Oh, okay. But a lot of guys, they don't really have that structure to themselves, like there are certain things of relationships that they want. The guys don't even know what they want. They go ask, what are you looking for? They don't know. They don't even have an answer. They don't have a pre-programmed answer because their brain is not set up for that.
Yeah. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I'm never going to ask what a woman is looking for because I know I'm the guy. So if I know I'm the guy, why would I ask her what she's looking for? I don't care what she thinks she's looking for because she hasn't met me yet. So just my arrogance. Again, villain. This is my arrogance, man.
How do you think a man can become a better leader with his girlfriend or wife, though, or just a girl that he's interacting with?
Well, again, he's got to separate himself from the relationship. The relationship is something he does, not who he is. So he's got to have a standard that have a program installed for meeting and dating, relationships, living together, engagement, marriage, and fatherhood that he lives by and will die on that sword. Meaning, if she doesn't follow that program, no matter how sexy she is, no matter how important, you got to let her go. You got to, that's the king. You got to sacrifice. So it's not about what I am with women in relationships. It's the relationship I have with myself first. So I've got to have you got to date yourself because a lot of guys talk about prenups, but no one ever talks about, because game teaches you us about a mental prenup. You know what I mean? I got to make sure that she is worthy of. See, we're taught that we take the dick off the table. We don't just give dick away for free. So we're taught she's got to be worth my attention, my time, my respect, and if she's lucky enough, she gets the dick. But I'm not just going to give it to her on general principle. But that's how we're taught, and that's why we get a lot of pussy because we're not throwing the dick out there.
Are there like practical things you would tell guys to how to like up their confidence, like things they could do in their day-to-day life to sort of get them on track, or is it really?
Well, you can't. Well, the problem is you can't. So it's like this. See, here's the problem with the world. So the world is like, okay. So if I say I want to be, if you say you want to be a doctor, which you're asking, it's like, okay, well, go get a game of called Operation, watch a few YouTube videos, and you could be a surgeon tomorrow. No, it does. There's no magical pill. I wish there was. I think they're all sold out or something, but there's no get your confidence up because the layers of things that go on in your mind stifle. So if you think about it, the highest point is what, December 31st at like 11:59 and like what 50 seconds or somewhere. They're counting down this stupid ass ball and they're just making all these lies and I'm going to change, I'm going to change, I'm going to change. Change doesn't happen from the outside. So you can't give someone confidence. Now you can give them a false confidence, like in high school, or junior or elementary. I felt good when I had some new shoes on, or I had a new outfit on in high school and stuff like that. That because I was a kid. But as a man, fake confidence is wearing clothes and stuff because you're masking or putting a rug over a problem. So you can't just say, well, I'm going to tell you to do this to give you confidence because most people have so many layers of mental issues and problems that confidence is going to go away. Because if if a scholar is telling you with confidence something, I can't interpret it his way because I'm not on his level. I'm not a scholar, or let's say a surgeon. So if a surgeon says, "Well, Steve, you just got to have confidence to operate. Here's the scalpel." I can't do that because I'm not on his level of thinking to understand what he means on that confidence. But if I became a student in medical school, boom, 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 residency and all that other stuff, then what he's saying will connect to me more. But that's the problem. Everybody's trying to give these young men a false word of confidence by just saying do this or do that. And it's got to be a lot of thises and a lot of that's.
Well, yeah, well, a lot of things you simply have to get from the real world. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, every experience I have comes from me actually going out and experiencing things and not just talking about on the internet. Like, Mike has seen me, the crazy stories that
Oh my
it's
god.
just, it's actually pretty interesting when you actually get off, put it down the phone. Cause that's the problem. A lot of people just live in an alternate reality called
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
internet verse.
Yeah.
And there's like different dimensions to that. And sometimes it goes deep because some people will get really involved
It's
in some
cold.
stuff. and it becomes into cults, and you could damage your mind that way. I think sometimes, in some to some regard, depending on who you are, the mind is fragile to certain influences, and when those influences take over, it's really hard to get someone to bounce back from that. Because I know a lot of people, there's a lot of these online communities, and then people going to women for advice on dating.
Oh,
I just, I
yeah.
can't
Well,
do.
it's a lot of mommy. So if you think about what's happening to a lot of these guys, so they have the umbilical cord attached to mommy. So then they take the cord out and attach it to either a male or a woman that reminds them of mommy. That's where the trust comes in at. Because what most of these guys do is they take the accountability from the men. They want to blame women for everything that's going wrong in your life. So, but it's easy to. I always we from where I came from and in my teaching, it's the mirror versus the window. So if you look out of a window, you will see a light image of yourself in front of the window, but who's ever on the other side of that window will see you for what you are. Versus looking in a mirror, looking at yourself and realize that I'm the problem and I'm the issue. Women have never been the problem. Matter of fact, they're giving up ass faster than they've ever have
That's what I'm
before.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's literally
yeah.
just a few swipes. But
Yeah, we yeah, like I went through a whole situation, many years ago, and that was like when I went through that, I was like, oh, my mind is now open. I'm awakened. I can see the problems. It has never been these women that were the issue. Maybe it's actually myself. Maybe there's something that I'm doing that's wrong. Maybe I gotta go and take a look in the mirror for a second and like see what the problem is, and then see what I could do to fix it, because there's something that I'm doing that is not working, and I need to do something about it, or else I'm going to continue to fail and I'm not going to progress myself in any way. A lot of people, they don't get awakened by any specific thing. Maybe they're trying to do it premeditatively, like they're not letting a specific trauma or something like that trigger it. They're just trying to find it, and sometimes it just doesn't click for them. Maybe they have to go through a trauma, or they have to go through something and fight. Like I know a lot of men, they'll say like, men got to go through trauma to then become better, and I sometimes I can't agree with that, because I went through that same experience. Some guys, they can't, maybe they will falter, and some guys, I guess that would be like a fight or flight type of natural selection type of thing.
Well, yeah, the if you if you look at trauma is something that has happened to you that is going to move or make a shift. So, if and again, I don't see trauma can be a dangerous thing when you have femininity
Yeah,
versus being masculine, because that trauma can flip you to hate women, to flip you to hate the world and all this other
yeah,
stuff, and that's why again, those that had game would always teach you to be rooted in yourself, where problems are going to happen. Life is going to happen. There's going to be a heartbreak. There's going to be, everything's not going to go your way. So if your foundation is not rooted in something, it's always just going to move with the wind.
right,
yeah, exactly. Like that's pretty much what happened with me. Like I had this thing, and I was like, wait, why am I feeling this way? Why do I don't need to feel this way. I can go forward. I can push on from this. Like this is not something that will hold me down. Like it's something that I can learn from and move on.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys, again, like I said, they sometimes they can't do that. And I guess that those are the people that just don't, I guess that they don't need to know, or I wish that they could know, but sometimes they just can't learn it.
Well, they can't. Well, that's what I'm saying. The trauma has to be so great where they have to find again. They have to go find the master. It's
Yeah.
always they've got to. You cannot do it on your own. It's just never been that way. You've always got to you're gonna have trauma, but it's like the kung fu movies. I mean, I used to watch kung fu movies all the time. So, the guy gets his butt kicked, and then the master comes in and saves him. But then the master tells him you got to do all this weird stuff, and then their mind is like, why would I do that? No, like Karate Kid. I'll give you the movie like Karate Kid. A lot of guys are like Daniel. A lot of guys, Daniel, if y'all have seen the Karate Kid, right? So y'all know, like
Of
you
course.
go,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So for those that's listening, Daniel's a little punk, right? And he's soft, and then he's getting bullied. And then Miyagi comes in and helps him. So then what do he say? I want to learn karate. And Miyagi saying, go wash those cars and dry them off. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't want to be like your slave. I want to know karate. And you don't know what you don't know because he's showing them technique. But that's what I'm saying. So someone that has trauma has to look at success not from a clothes standpoint, but from a mind standpoint. And then they can get that, like the PSD and trauma and things that they go through. They can get help for that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about like marriage? Because like Mike here is married, but I'm actually, but I'm just enjoying my life right now. I know what I want and everything. So, what do you think? What do you think about the concept of
Well,
marriage?
I think, and I say this for all guys, I will never tell a man not to get married, and I'll never tell a man to get married. But what I will tell a man is that for me, because I've been married for 24 years, so I would tell somebody the only reason I did it because of my arrogance and my bloodline. I wanted to duplicate me. I wanted a bloodline. When I die, I wanted to live on through my children. So I always tell guys, don't get married for sex. Don't get married for the woman. If you're going to get married to create the next future you to push on your name when you're no longer around. But if you're not doing that, don't get why get married when you can just go around like you said, smash. You don't have to. That's
You're
only
lit-
that's all.
you're literally speaking to me right now. You're literally speaking to me. That's literally how I feel. It's one of the main reasons why I got married in the first place. I am an only child. I'm the last surviving
Mm,
version of me. So I'm like I gotta do the thing. I gotta get it going.
yeah,
So that's pretty much how that's one of the reasons why my girl, she's like attached to my hip. She's been following me forever. She's
awesome.
been waiting on me forever.
What's interesting, Steve, is that the way Mike's wife treats him is the way, like, I like that because she pursued him in the beginning. She was all about him. She's trying to get him out. She's begging him out. She started messaging him. Like, it was pretty nice. It was good to see.
I
Yeah,
should
It
be.
actually started
Yeah.
from a really, 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 how could I say, like, just a good concept, I think. Like, and eventually he was like, okay, you know what? I think I see value in you. I like you, and eventually it led to today. So I think that's a good story because it's something I don't see that all very often. Usually it's the guy like, please go out with me, please go out with me, and then the girl's like, well, I don't know,
well,
and the guy's like, well,
maybe.
do you like Red Lobster? Do you like Texas Roadhouse? You want to come out? And eventually the girl's like, okay, yeah, fine, I guess I'll go out with you. And then years later, a couple kids, maybe a divorce or
Mm,
two,
yeah.
three, four, and like I see that story play out a lot more than I see this story.
Yeah.
So
Well, I believe if you're going to get married, you better vet that woman because it's going to be your child. You got to make sure she's wife worthy, then mother worthy. Because before we even get pregnant, we got to have a powwow. Where we got to talk religion, politics. We got to talk discipline. We got to talk Christmas. We got to talk college. And it's something that a lot of people don't do. The problem is people just live together, don't protect the seed, knock somebody up, and think, oh, this is going to be happily ever after. And y'all just aren't connecting. And then the woman has always been treating you bad. And when you give her a baby and she still treats you bad, then you don't get the baby. So that's where game comes in at because game forces you to vet the woman to see if she's even worthy of, she might be worthy of your dick, but not worthy of your sperm. So
oh yeah.
you gotta make sure she's worthy of that. And then again, even if some things happen sometimes where the court system will do that. I mean, I'm not going to say everything is sunshine and rainbows, but as a man, you gotta sometimes make the sacrifice. You know what? Hey, look, if she's fighting me, the court's fighting me, I'm gonna charge 18 years and I'll just get back to him 18 years and I'll keep writing him notes and I'll give him a big ass box to let him know I've always tried. I've always been at his shows and take photos and I was at your track meets and all this other stuff. I just couldn't talk to you, but I was always there. So there's a way to get around it when you have game.
How would you vet a girl to be a wife?
Oh well, again, it's a blueprint I was taught when I was young. So again, there's so there's the meeting and dating phase,
Right.
then there's a relationship phase, then there's the moving together phase, then there's the engagement phase and marriage phase. So let's start meeting and dating. So you have to have a program of what is meeting and dating to you. What things does she have to hit for you to be able to move forward? So if she cannot hit at least 80 to 90%, we'll fall back to just booty call. So it's always going to be a fallback. So if she gets through the relationship, your relationship, then her and you are going to have a powwow. This is my expectations. This is what I expect. And you have every right to say no, because if you don't want to follow my program, we'll fall back and just smash. Moving in together. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I always tell my guys this: moving together, we're gonna get a joint bank account. And I'm gonna tell you why. The reason we'll get a joint bank account is because if our bills are $2,000, that just means rent, electricity, entertainment, and food. And that, just to give you an example, accumulates to $2,000. I'm gonna put $1,000 in that bank, and you're gonna put $1,000 in your bank. And whatever you have is your money, and my money's my money. Don't ask me for anything. So if we break up, we can just split like that. Don't combine things. Now, when you get engaged, that's when you and I got to sit down. I got to look at the books. I got to look at your credit score. I got to look at your background. I got to know how you use your money, where you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, why you're spending your money. We got to have a talk, because I'm not going to marry into fucking debt. I'm not doing that shit. You're going to take care of your bills before we do anything. And we're going to let you know that when you're with me, that's my money. It's our money, but I'm in control of the finances. And I'll stipend you, but $200. But here's the thing. If you don't like it, we can fall back. We can go back to booty call. I'm not going to go forward because you're going to follow my program. You don't have to, because I don't need you. I can find somebody else easily. So I know it sounds cruel to say, but that's why you don't have any problems, because you're cleaning out all the negativity and you're canceling out all the problems before they hit, even with marriage. This is my expectation. This is your representation of me at this time. This is how you're going to act. This is how you're going to behave. And listen, I'm just telling you my expectation. You don't have to do it. And if you don't want to do it, because we believe in free will, you don't want to do it, cool. We're going to fall back, because we will never be doing. There's no relationship. We just fuck. If you want to fuck, we can. But that's how you do it. But where people go wrong, they meet the woman, move in with her, get married, and they don't have any kind of powwows, sit down conversations of expectation. And that's why everything is messed up today.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys are afraid to walk away from a girl that's not completely valuing them or respecting them. It's all the time. The power to walk away is everything. I literally tell Mike, I was like, well, if she's not what I'm trying to do, listen, that's perfect. I'm going to downgrade you to booty call only. And then, like I actually like doing that because I save time, and time is the most important thing to me.
You said that to me,
right?
I've had to do it, but it's really because I really, as I said, I value time, and I think that I want to spend my time with someone who's worth being my time. Like Mike's my friend. He respects me. I spend time with Mike, and we have a couple other friends that we spend time with. I only spend time with girls that actually desire and respect what I'm trying to do. And if you're not, that's actually good. Actually, I get happy because I try to filter out the ones as quickly as possible. Okay, well, you're not on my plan here, so you got to go right immediately. Like, no, perfect, great. Go find a guy that's gonna. I think you should go get some free meal. Go get a free meal. It's not gonna be me.
Yeah,
somebody's out there's gonna give. I mean, you might. If I was a girl, I'd be getting steaks every day. I would.
Facts.
To eat. Can't be for Andrew, but girls gonna eat.
Well, yeah, facts. Absolutely.
I'm not. It can't be. That's why. And Mike sees it all the time. Like I personally, I just like saving time, so I'll do whatever. Hey, if you don't want to come to my place, cool. I mean, because I've had, you'll get sorry, I'm only looking for this, or I'm not. I don't just come over to a guy the first time I meet them. And I'm just like, well, I'm a little tired tonight, so go out and go get a free meal. I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna enjoy myself the rest of the night. I don't need a woman to make my night, because a lot of guys, when they get flaked on, they'll get in their feelings. They'll curse the girl out. Oh, well, fuck you. I hate you. Don't ever call me again. Even though as soon as the girl calls him back, she's gonna be like, hello. So I don't mind having a night with just me.
Well, they get flaked on because they're not clear on what their intentions are. So the woman knows, but they're not clear on what they are. And I had my place, I always had this thing. If I'm not coming, you ain't coming over. So they know that if you come over, you forfeit your body. And if you come over and you play games with me, I'm going to clean off my pants. I'm going to get up. I'm going to grab your purse like a football, and I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to put the purse in your hand. I'm going to walk you to my door. And as I open the door with my hand, not on your ass, just on the lower part, escort your ass out that damn door, because you're not wasting my time. But that's the standard. But I'm not saying you have to come over. But just know if you do come over, that's only for women that's gonna give that ass up. I'm not here to hang out with you and stuff like that. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time a girl knows if she's coming over, unless like you really just play the friend card and you just act so friendly for a few weeks over text, and then she's like, okay, maybe I'll come over, and then she comes over, and then you try to touch her. She's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, I thought we were, and she's like, no, you gotta earn this or some shit like that. It's always something, and I'm just like, oh well, there's the door, there it is.
There it is. There I go.
Do you have any suggestions on how a guy would maximize the utilities in his house to make it very appealing when a girl walks in the door?
Yeah, I believe in creating a sexual amusement park. So the first thing, because again, because I live this, so this is why my stuff is always out of the box from the YouTubers because they ain't living this. So the first thing I would tell them is a lost and found box because I want to break their spirit. So the lost and found box should be the first thing they walk into because they're going to want to know, like, what is that box? Why is there a lost and found box? Well, it's because when women come over my place, they always like to leave stuff around. They always like to put earrings or panties or bras for the other woman. So if I find it, I'm going to put it in the lost and found box. And there's a bunch of stuff in there. And I always tell them, you can go in there and get one item. But I'm going to tell you this much. If you leave anything in my house, it's going to go in that box. And the next woman up is going to get. So that's the first thing, to break them with the lost and found box. But there's also, I like to create an amusement park. So I always talk about nude, clean, beautiful nude art that you have on your walls. I always teach them to have wine above their bed with some nice art on it. I teach them to have an easel to paint her body. So it's what I use is positional pieces. So when she comes over, she's gonna want to know about the nude art, and because if you dim the lights, I like to use the museum light. Like when it's dim, they have that light that comes over and hits it. Yeah. So. Right. So I want that to be the moth to the flame. So she's over there with the wine and she's just looking at your artwork, and you can tell her, like, I always love to find art in the living room of a woman that has like a drape on her, because that's what I see most women, that, there's something sexual in you. And what I see in this photo is that a lot of women hold themselves back. So I always tie in a sexual story with the nude art. But if you go to the bedroom where they see the wine above the bed, they were like, well, what is that? Well, it's my wine. Why would you have it there? If you were there with me and I was kissing and touching your body, do you want me to stop what I'm doing to get up and go into the kitchen? No, I want to have access to it because is that I would pour extra wine to hit your body so I can taste it to see if it tastes different in the glass versus your body. So you're saying, so I'm always looking for ways to utilize my apartment, especially Halloween. We got a thing called Sexoween that I all used to do, where I create a sexual haunted house for a woman. And I give her an invite. That's how again, nobody talks about this on YouTube because I keep telling you, everybody ain't doing the stuff we're doing. But, I would teach the guys to give them a sexual invite, and every room is a different area of a sexual ghost that's haunting my house. And this is what he would do with his victims in the first room, which might be a Dungeons and Dragons. A spanking and whips and chains. One room might be where he eats off his things and eat food off of her. The shower, I use the colored lights where he purifies the woman. The bedroom, you tie her up, and then you let her know the ghost is inside you and you fuck the shit out of her. So I always want to make sure that I leave an impression on her, because that's the number one thing I was taught in the game. It's not what I am when we're together, it's how I am when you leave me. So my house, I always teach my guys, your house should be a sexual amusement park for a woman.
Yeah, because I think you said something, and I agree with you to the point is you can't have sex with her. Well, you can have sex with her body, but you also want to have sex with her mind.
Oh yeah.
About that?
Oh yeah. Oh, talk about that. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, see, here's the thing. So what people don't understand about sex is unfortunately, a lot of guys look at sex through our eyes because we're physical. We're always looking at the physical, but we're not taking the time to take a step back to understand what sex is to a woman. Yes, they like dick, but they want to be able to connect the emotion. So what I learned at a young age, that there are levels. Okay, so you have conscious thought, subconscious thought in a woman, and then there's this thing called emotion. Emotions will always override subconscious and conscious thought. Where you have subconscious thought, that's where her belief system, judgments, morals, values, and her not trusting you, which is you'll see on the conscious level of her saying, I'm not that kind of girl. I don't do those things. I won't suck a dick the first night, whatever, right? So I was taught to skip conscious, subconscious, and attack the emotion. See, that's why I always tell guys, I'm not trying to fuck. I'm trying to show them why they should fuck me. Totally different thought process. Because once I tap into the emotional level, the emotions will override and supersede subconscious and conscious thinking, where she will always think about me and fantasize about me and want me, even if I'm not even okay. Let's say she wants a 7 foot motherfucker. I'm 5'7". So if she meets me, her eyes might say he's not the type of guy that we want to be with, but her mind is saying we got to sleep with this guy. So then there is a battle between the mind and the eyes, or the reality, where I just apply the bandages and the bullets. You know what I mean? I'm out of this, but I position myself to make her want me on an emotional depth. So this is what I always tell guys who have small dicks, erectile dysfunctions, or they have premature ejaculation. If you connect with the mind, you can give her the best sex ever, no matter if you have those three things, because she's so connected to you. Just to be around you is sex to her. So that's what a lot of guys go wrong. They think that, I gotta fuck her right off the bat. And listen, I always tell guys, I never want to shame guys from fucking sleeping with women, but I want to talk the emotional thing. This is what's important. So, like I was talking about the conscious and subconscious, if they have beliefs, morals, values, judgments, and don't trust you, which every woman does when you first meet her, what do you I always tell the guys, what are you calling her by saying, let's go over your house? Fuck your beliefs and everything. This come over to my house. You're calling her a slut. You're saying that you're no. They can be slutty because I always tell guys, everything you see in porn has its own category. And in every category is a beautiful looking woman doing that nasty ass shit. So don't think women can't do that. They're just not going to do it with somebody that makes them feel like a slut. You know what I mean? She wants to be slutty, but she doesn't want to feel like a slut while she's doing slutty things.
Right. A lot of people don't, because like they'll watch porn, but I think that a lot of guys don't. They don't really know a lot of the techniques and things to actually go
Yeah.
beyond just physical. I mean, there's a lot of things just a few things you can whisper into a girl's ear can change the entire scope of the night. That's all it takes, is what kind of like knowing the kind of style you like is the kind of, because a lot of guys just copy what they see on Pornhub, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know. They just try to copy what they see, but they can't do it the right way because it's not them. They're pretty sure. What is your thoughts on porn consumption?
Well, I don't mind porn. I always tell guys. I mean, I like porn. I mean, even when I got pussy and I was still jerking off. I'm a guy. I mean, this is what we do. So I never looked. Porn never defined me. But
It's like no
well,
fat, all that kind of stuff
yeah,
online.
yeah. Yeah. Because I learned at a young. Because my first piece of pussy was 13, and she was 24. So that was my teacher until she broke me at 14, which gave me self discovery of game on the sexual level. But the thing about sex is that one thing that we stopped doing, okay, we were all young, we had imagination, creativity, and a sense of adventure. Our teachers or our parents can give us a piece of paper, a crayon, a paintbrush, or a pencil, and we're in our own world, just drawing ships and monsters or whatever. I mean, we remember we can get on our bicycle, and it could be a plane or a motorcycle. I mean, our minds were just out there. So what happened was these young men, they killed the child in them. I'm not saying being childish, but they killed that part of them that I never killed. See, I'll be 52 in August. So I'm still a gamer. I play video games. I'm a geek and all this other stuff. So I'm a big ass kid, but I never killed my imagination, my creativity, and my sense of adventure, because now I have sexual imagination, sexual creativity, and a sexual sense of adventure, meaning that I can tap into a woman on a higher level to make her want to give the pussy up really fast, or just on me alone. And it doesn't matter how I look. I don't have the body. I don't have the body. I don't have all the things that people say you should have, but I've got their mind. So I know that. So I always tell guys, if you want to watch porn, watch it. Just get your don't uh don't live in porn, because I always tell guys I want them to be one thing I would love them to be if they were anything like me. I tell them all the time, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a crackhead, and I've got a gambling addiction. And that's what I want these guys to have. Because I drank me so much, I'm drunk on me. I smoke me so much, I'm cracked out on me. And I believe in me so much, I always gamble on myself. So I'm always pushing my chips to the middle of the table because I believe in myself. Watch porn if you want to watch it at night. If it's like 3 a.m. where you can't go out, but there is porn outside your door. These women are fucking. These women are doing a lot of nasty things. Threesomes, orgies, swinger clubs. Everybody's fucking. And the thing was so great. I have this thing in August. We have our annual August thing where you get a new batch of pussy that's coming in. All these little young bitches that no longer they'll have daddy to tell them what to do. There's no person over them. They get to drink if they want to, drugs if they want to, lick some pussy if they want to, and fuck as much as they want. And they're gonna do that. The question is, are they gonna do it with you? Or they're gonna do it with us.
You just got to be that guy.
You got to be that guy. Yeah,
You got to make yourself that guy.
yeah. You got to make yourself that guy.
My standard response is, if anyone ever asked me, "Do you watch porn?" I said, "I make the porn."
Yeah, I am. Well, I am.
I'm the director. I film it. I tell them what to do. I am the porn.
Yeah, you can be. Absolutely, absolutely.
We actually have a few prompts here. So these are some things that, of course, girls have asked me many times, and I wanted to see how you would respond to these prompts that girls would ask you. So the first one is, how many girls are you seeing?
As many as I want. So you mean if a woman asking me that question? Yeah. Oh, how many? Yeah, as many as I want. Yeah, I don't like. One thing I don't like doing is I don't ever tell a woman what I do for a living, and I never tell a woman how many women I'm seeing. She's gonna know I'm a ladies' man, but I keep business off the street, so I don't talk about those things.
Yeah, because because a lot of girls, they think if you'll tell them all, a lot of girls won't open up to you if they think you're just going to tell everybody the business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're masters at being discreet, at being stealthy, because they don't want shame, judgment from their parents, from their neighbors, from their friends, and all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely,
that's why girls will never really say a lot of the real things that goes on behind the scenes. Like on these podcasts, like I got to bring it up again. Like a lot of these girls will tell you, oh, you should do this and that, but they'll never really tell you what they're doing behind closed doors. So you can't really exactly listen to those things up front on public internet where her dad could see her. Yeah, she's gonna say the real shit.
Right. I call it the Charlie Brown. I don't know if y'all ever watched Charlie Brown as kids, but you remember when he was in the classroom with the fucking teacher, womp bullshit? Yeah. These fucking, listen, man, that woman is not going to give you the secret to her pussy. They're not going to take, they always, I want him to do this and he's got to do that. So she's throwing him off by saying what she wants to throw him off the path. You're not supposed to do what a bitch wants you to do. You do it, you become the need, not the want.
Exactly. Another one is, are you looking for something serious or just a hookup?
I don't know what I'm looking for because I don't know you. And that's the honest truth. And once I know you, I will know that and determine that. But I've got to see what you are. I find you very sexually attractive, but sex ain't everything to a man like me. I need sexy to me is what you do, not who you are. Yeah, your ass, I'm an ass man, so your ass caught my eye, but I want to know what's behind that smile. So once I learn more about you, I'll be able to answer that, because once I know, you'll know.
The next one is, are you going to call me after tonight?
Yeah, and not I'm only going to call you, I'm going to call you and tell you what I want you to wear on our next date. So I'll send you a voice message, and I'm going to be, I'm thinking, do I want to take it to leg, spread your ass cheeks? Do I want to take it to the corner of your face in the pillow, your ass up in the air, or the corner of your dick on my dick on your forehead, your balls in your mouth, and take you out somewhere? But I'm going to tell you what time, the place, and what to wear. So I'm going to call you because I'm not wasting my time. I'm just not going to have you around for just to be around. I got a purpose on this shit.
Yeah, I agree. The same thing. I like my girls wearing a black tank top with some like pink or like purple leggings. I just know, like I
Yeah,
have my own, and I know because like whenever that's how I kind of figure. I already know if the girl's gonna be on my team or not because I'll tell, you know, I want you to wear something black. She comes over, she's wearing something black. I was like, oh, yep, it's over, game over.
yeah,
And usually it's pretty, you know, within like 20, 30 minutes of meeting, go already in the bedroom. That's it. Once she already got the attire on. Okay, now you're dressed. That's my version of dress for success.
yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The next one is sorry, I'm not that type of girl.
Well, I'm not that type of guy. And whether you're that type of girl or not, I don't, I'm not here to change who you are. I'm just trying to enhance who you are. So if you're not that type of girl, I get because for me, because I'm thinking in my mind, the reason why she's not that type of girl because she's the average of the average motherfuckers that she's been with. So her mindset is based on averages. And if you're above average, I'm not playing by those rules. So I understand or overstand why you are not that kind of girl. But once you start messing with me, remember, I just want I'm not trying to fuck you. I just want the invite. And if you want to know why I'm not trying to fuck you, is because I'm trying to show you why I should be on this dick. And I'll show you.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think is the most attractive part of me?
I don't know yet because I haven't tasted you and I haven't seen you with your clothes off and I haven't heard your mind yet. So I can't tell you. I don't know what attractive is, but you know what? It'd be pretty attractive if you pick up that little piece of paper over there and you know what? I got some dishes over there that need to be washed. And that's really fucking attractive. If you want to vacuum my floor or detail my car, that's sexy as fuck.
I do have to say that women like when you actually give them direction and
Yeah.
type of thing. Girls need something to do. You can't just leave them home just watching Netflix all day. They have to at least complete a task for you, and that's how you know that you're on the right
Fuck, you're right. Yeah. Fuck
like
yeah.
you know, I'll show her how to use the vacuum, and she knows she'll be vacuuming the house. Or like, here's the bleach that I use for the sink and for the toilet.
Yeah.
Now I have to go to work, but when I come back, you know, I'm hoping that you know what to do. And then I was like, oh okay, because she
Yeah.
wants a girl who's really because a lot of guys don't know what desire is. They don't know that concept, so they don't know that girls will do certain things for the guys they like, and they'll
Mhm.
say "fuck you," buy me dinner for the guy she does not like.
Yes.
The fact that a lot of guys, going back to what I said, but they won't believe my stories because they've never had a girl say, you know, I want you right now. Like they've never had the girl try to rip their clothes off compared to
Yeah.
the guy begging. Guys
Oh,
have never had the girl say, you know, is there something I can get for you? You know, do you like KFC or are you more of a Chick-fil-A kind of guy or do you like Sonic chicken tenders? What is your favorite? Like they've never had that happen to them.
never.
And
Never.
I'll tell girls like, you know, bring me pasture raised eggs. That's my things. I eat healthy. Like I'm all about the health and all that. So I was
Yeah.
like, you get me the grass fed, grass finished beef by Nature Valley at ShopRite. It's like only $7 something. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then she coming up with the beef. I was like, oh well, now we know what we're having for dinner. Like you already,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, because I have my own, because you know, because you have to once again know
Yes.
who you are, and so I just
Absolutely.
be, I have my own nutrition plan. So when I tell a girl like, oh, do you want me to buy you McDonald's? Like, no, I want pasture raised eggs. They're gonna be like, what? Because they've never had a guy tell them I want this.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
Whole
a
Foods and
girl thing.
Sprouts. Yeah. Some organic shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The next one is do you say this to all your other girls?
Only the ones that I'm interested in. That's all I do. I'm one thought, one mind, one way. You're not special enough for me to change what I'm going to say to you because I'm the special one here. So why would I change what I think for you when you haven't proven anything to me? So yeah, I say it to all the women. If you don't like it, here's the door.
When a girl asks you, what are you looking for on this, like a dating app or something like that?
Well, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a position. It depends on the position I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for someone to give me a back massage, I'm looking for a cook for breakfast, one that's gonna cook lunch, or one that's gonna cook dinner. It just depends if my roster, if I'm firing somebody, putting somebody on waivers, putting them like on a practice squad. It just depends the openings that I have, and then I'll know better what I'm looking for. It's kind of like what women do right now. It's just that they guys don't believe that they can do that shit.
What about when a girl tells you, I don't usually do this kind of thing?
I don't usually do this kind of thing either. And I'm not trying to get you to do anything that you don't want to do. So if you don't feel like doing it, I will be happy to take you home right now. Because again, I'm all about free will. So I don't ever want to lie, manipulate, or force you to do anything you don't want to do. I want you to do it because you want to do it, not because you have to do it.
It's very important because a lot of guys don't understand organic chemistry. They don't understand natural desire and free will. A lot of guys try to force the situation. When you
Yeah.
try to force the situation, it only gets more mixed up compared to
Yeah.
you
You
can
just
go
look
at
weak
any
by doing it.
time. I'm going to do this no matter what. Now, if you're it's either you're with me or you can go. and
Yeah,
that a lot of guys are afraid to let them go. So they
yeah,
try to, no, you're going to listen to me. I'm the alpha male. You want to listen to whatever and then the girl's like, okay, buddy. And then she
Sure.
loses all respect compared to like,
yeah,
I want you to do this. No, bye.
yeah.
Simple. It's very simple. What if she says, I'm only looking for friends right now?
I've never had a woman friend. Now, listen, we can be friends after we get done fucking. I don't believe men and women can be friends. I'm not here to be your friend. And if you're looking for friends, just look. I'm gonna leave you a candle in the window to find your way back home when you change your mind. So when you want some of this dick or you want me, let me know. But other than that, take care. I'm not gonna waste your time or my time. I don't do that friendship shit.
He
Yeah.
says, don't think we're gonna have sex tonight.
Well, did I ask to have? Did I ask you to have sex? I mean, okay, so if I ask and you say yes and you come over, well, you'll get up and you gonna get that. You can get the fuck out. If I'm not coming, you ain't coming over. But you're allowed. Listen, you're allowed. Not. I'm not here to force you, but I'm always about having understanding. So you know what you're gonna be doing and why you would do it. And again, you have every right to say you don't feel like it, but I got every right to say because I believe you're allowed to say no, but I'm also allowed to say, well, find the other one who will. So when one won't, I'll take you home and drop you off and call the other one that will.
Mm. You're not a serial killer, are you?
No, I have no dead bodies in there, but what I am is a very sexual killer. I love to kill your emotions, kill your sexuality, and kill your pussy. So, yeah.
Do you have any more, Mike?
Honestly, those are a lot of the ones that I thought of on the spot.
I think that was a good answer.
Yeah.
Those are good answers because it's a lot of real world stuff. Like, and it comes from within. It's not scripted. It's not. It doesn't. You don't have a piece of paper that that or asked you. It came from the mind. And it
Yeah.
takes a long time. Well, it takes time and repetition and actually knowing who you are and actually
Yeah.
develop your own style to come up with those answers. Because a lot of people, a lot of guys would never have never. First of all, they've never been asked that kind of thing, so they would never.
Mhm.
A lot of guys they want girls to approach them now, which is silly.
Yeah, it's not. It's not okay. The only way, and I tell my guys, and I kind of told you, the only way you'll get a woman to approach you is two things. I'm telling them to do right now. I'm telling them to prepare themselves to go do nude modeling at the colleges, or work on their poetry and get on stage and recite their poetry. That's when the women will come up to you. But other than that, man, unless it's a strip club and they're trying to get something out of you, they're not just gonna come up to you that way. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of guys are afraid to approach it. They just hope that a girl's gonna come up to them or give them some kind of choosing signal, whatever. It's like, man, just you should be the choosing signal.
Yeah.
Just do it. Because if you're waiting at the line in Starbucks and you're not even, because if you look at a girl and then she looks at you, but you walk away and then okay, now I'm gonna make my move. Well, she already sees you a bit as a bitch anyway. You might as
Yeah.
well go. You might as well just save her the time.
Yes.
That's not even the point. Mike, you have any question about the poetry thing? Because
Yeah, that's actually really funny that you brought up the poetry thing. We actually had a bunch of poets on our podcast recently. They tell us a lot of crazy things, but I even was a poet at one point too. I used to do poetry, and that did open my eyes a little bit of the whole getting. I got the little glimpse of the game. I just wasn't ready for it. So I understand what you were talking about with like going to poetry readings and stuff like that because you could see a lot of that stuff happening. But a lot of the times, a lot of the people that are there, they got a lot of mental red flags and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I just sent you guys. If you look on your computer on the back end, I just sent you a link to my poetry thing. And
okay,
if you play the first few minutes of the last track I posted, you'll see game. I don't know if you could play it loud or whatever. If you could click
Mike,
that.
Let
And,
me let me see
and-
what I
we can do that.
yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah. Just the first. Yeah, it's called the first track. Yeah, I want you to. You'll see because I mean people always want receipts. They're like, where are your receipts? I don't know if you're real, but yeah. But I learned game through mouthpiece. So yeah.
Like the things I say will be
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
receipts.
There you go. Then there's you. Just play this for a little bit of the beginning of it, and
You
let's
said
hear it. At the top, first at the top.
the top.
Yeah, that one right there.
No way. Literally, you impress me every single time more. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Two more. Two more. I want to see two more.
I feel like I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say because I feel like anything that I say, it's an understatement. Like compared to what I feel, like that.
Last one. It's the best one. I mean, there's poetry in this, but this is just my intro. So
It's just a whole different experience. It's another connection, another level to it because it's there's a difference between it's the same thing that you tell the guys. There's a difference between um just doing text messages, and then there's a difference between doing voice, and there's a difference between you sending a video clip. Like, they're just all different experiences. So, and then connecting all of that with, what you're doing.
okay, so anyway, yeah, so that's all. I got poetry, yeah. So I got a lot of poetry there, like over like 200 things. But yeah, so I learned this when I was a young age. That's what my mentor taught me. The reason why I have a mouthpiece was because I had to learn from a guy named Bob Ross. He made me watch the white dude with the afro and learn poetry because that's what created my mouthpiece, and that's why I teach all my guys they got to learn poetry. I mean, again, it's different, it's outside the box, but I want these guys to be able to spit that flavor in their ear and their eyes and stuff, and it starts with poetry, erotic poetry.
It's very interesting because we've been to a lot of poetry open mics and poetry shows and all that. And a lot of whenever the girls go up, usually they're talking about some guy who broke their heart or some guy who made them feel a certain type of way, or the ex that she used to love fucking, but then he found a better girl, he left her, and now she's sad. Now she's saying, and everybody, and all the guys are like, oh my God. And then they try to talk to her after, but she's like, no thanks. Because when all the guys go up and do their poetry, usually it's about a girl that
Yeah.
they're sipping for, and it's usually, uh, we had two girl poets on. Was it a week or
It was
two
a
ago?
couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
And they were explaining that kind of stuff, and I thought it was very interesting. But I think the poetry scene is actually in New Jersey. There's a whole
there's a
because that's
whole
where
big
we're from.
renaissance.
We're in New Jersey, so
Okay.
there's a lot of poetry meetings going as they called the New Jersey Renaissance. A lot of poets getting together and getting things set up. Very very good stuff. I definitely shout out to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was yeah, no, poetry actually, because poetry, like you were saying before, with your mouthpiece, because you got to learn words and you got to learn how, you know, using, just don't be basic and using basic words. You got to, flavor it up with, and I'm being basic right now because I can't even think of specific words that I would rather use. But you want to use words that are a little bit more complex and use, get them to be like, oh, how to, what this word means, and stuff like that. Because a lot of people now, a lot of people don't even read. A lot of people don't even read now, and so like knowing words like that and being complex with words and like how to and how to complex and structure sentences and stuff like that, just in general when speaking, is very important, especially like when you're talking to a woman, because women will hear these words and usually they'll just be like, oh wow, and they get really they'll get they'll get really intrigued.
Yeah, like when she asked what you're looking for, I don't know what I'm looking for right now because I don't know you, but when I know what I'm looking for, I want to look for what's behind your smile. I want to know what makes you smile. I want to know what makes you blush and what makes you dance naked in the rain. I want to know things about you that you never told anybody else before. Because the connection I want to make with you is on a deeper level. It's not just my fingers touching your mind. It's the words that touch your body as well. Because I want to, I mean, I can go on, but I'm just saying you see what I'm saying? That's from
Make them
both.
visualize what
Yeah, yeah.
you speak.
A lot of guys don't realize that it's not just you making a pussy wet; it's about you making her mind wet, and that will
That,
translate.
yes, here, yes, absolutely.
So yeah, but our time's pretty much up for the day. We gotta get here. But guys, Steve, it was really excellent having you on. A lot of wisdom here, a lot
Thank
of good
you.
stuff. And where can people find you and stuff like that?
Yeah, just go to the manmindset.com and if you're not sure, just go to the receipts because we have audio and video receipts or listen to the poetry. You hear nothing but women in there all the time saying stuff. I always give little clips and things in there. But but I would do appreciate y'all guys. And anytime y'all need me on or have any questions or want me back on as a guest, I'll be happy to be on here, man. I appreciate that shit.
Absolutely,
We appreciate
1000%,
that.
guys. Yeah, guys, go subscribe to Steve's channel. Good stuff right there, and also
Yeah, go to
like
his
this video and subscribe as well.
Yeah,
manmindset.com. It's in the description already.
Right.
perfect.
Like I said, we're going to see you guys in the next video.